Welcome back, guys. It's the Now Morning Show. Anchor Will here, giving you a little bit of culture and the arts. And as you can hear from Ruckus's perfect selection, we jamming on Junction this morning in some ways. Junction Village, written by Trinidadian playwright Douglas Archibald, is a comedic play set in the 1950s, long before I was a thought. And it's taking place during a traditional bongo night. Now, you guys are going to correct me if I missed anything. Now, the play was written in 1954 and tells the story of a village gathering to pay their respects to a stalwart figure within the community as she lingers near death. Yeah? I got it. Joining me this morning is Shannon Navarro, the company manager for the National Performing Arts, and Aunt Penny. I'm not even going to say your real name.
Arnold going down.
We could go with Penny. I like that better.
Penny, go ahead.
The resident player. We'll get into that as well. Joining me this morning, I love it. I had to say it with the quotation marks because we are talking about, well, Junction Village. Good morning and welcome, guys.
Morning.
Thank you very much, first of all, for reliving that moment, because 1950, wow, how did we get there? Why the Junction Village?
Well, Junction Village was written by Archibald Douglas. And for people who don't know, yesterday I was informed that by my director. He also wrote The History of Trinidad and Tobago and Rose Slip, which is also a play. And people who don't know about him may not know this piece of work.
Okay.
Right? And we at NTAC decided to read it, and when we read it, it's an amazing play. The Douglas captures pinpoint accuracy about even the language of Trinidadian in the 1950s, the way people behave, their mannerisms. And as I said yesterday to somebody else, is a play where, you know, you could read something and say, this don't belong here, and that, not that.
It definitely
everything is in sync and is brilliant. It's a masterpiece, according to my director. Yeah, I think so.
Chef's kiss, let's go. Now, in terms of bringing this to life, it also creates new opportunities job-wise. It keeps actors and actresses relevant in this time of COVID. I know that took a lot of work.
It did.
I know that took a lot of work. Now, behind the scenes, the average person, I mean, honestly, if we're taking in the play, we don't care too much about too much of the work, but give us an idea of some of the challenges specific to COVID in terms of putting this on, because we're actually having a play at 2 different locations coming up soon. What was that like?
I think the challenges are generally deciding if we can have a live audience. You know, social media has really become a very important tool in ways of staying connected with the audience and reaching them where they are. But you know, we've been longing to be back on this stage. It's like, how can we do this safely in a way that doesn't endanger the public, but also, you know, the public, I think, is sort of crying out for something, you know, and art is the thing that fills all somethings.
I love it. Art is the thing that fills all something.
And to what Shannon saying, the theatres that are putting on the shows, Napa Queen's Hall and Naparima Bowl, where we'll be at this weekend, for all these old people and anybody who want, you know, right? All these old people, this camera, right? It will be on Naparima, and they have their protocols in place, and we assure you, you'll be safe, and their setup is really, really good. So anybody who's afraid to come out because of the COVID virus, the Naparima Bowl will have your back, right? So
I like that. Naparima Bowl will have your back. They do definitely have this space, and a lot of people, I remember going to Napa actually for Sunfest as a child and loving to play in the hills and all of that. So they definitely have the accommodation, and they do follow protocols very strictly. So in terms of the specifics, the show date will be the 27th at 7:30 and the 28th at 6 p.m. at Naparima Bowl, and then on April 3rd, 7:30, and the 4th at 6 p.m. Yes?
Queen's Hall.
Now that's at Queen's Hall. Now tickets do carry a cost, yes?
Yes. Tickets are $50, 17 and under, it's free admission, but you still have to have a ticket and you have to be accompanied by an adult.
Okay, that's nice.
So don't just drop the kiddies off and say, go and see a show.
What do you hope that viewers come away with, though? Because if we're talking about, of course, adults, but also children under the age of 17.
There's so much things in the play that could be relevant to society today, and there are so much things in the play that will make you laugh and possibly cry at some certain points. Probably cry laughing, you know.
Fingers
but
crossed.
People need to see it. I mean, there's so much things in it that if I start on one, I'll have to go to another one, and then
we may not have time. Here's what we do. We usually talk till they tell us stop. So go.
Well, you see, what I as an actor, so most of the time you're on stage, right? So you don't really get to see the stage and the play in a holistic thing.
Right.
And for me, or the women characters in the 1950s are very strong. They have no qualms about talking back to men or standing up for the position.
Really? We belong in the 1950s?
Yeah. But at the same time, it kind of brings out some of the chauvinists, you would boy, ways of men from that time who do things unconsciously because that is what
men do.
That is what we do, right?
Right.
You know, and I could probably quote some lines from the play, but it wouldn't make sense in the context of just saying it by itself.
Okay.
So you need to come and see it. And you see, we are funny people too, right? Certain things we will laugh at that on stage, and then it happens really in society, and then you say, oh, you know, why are we laughing, right?
Right.
No? So you should come and see it. And my best advice is to watch it with an open heart, open mind. Bring children, is children friendly. Yes. And it's a lot of fun.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Now, Sean, I'm going to check it out for sure. But in terms of next steps, because beyond the pandemic, generally, the arts culture needs to continue. We need to tell our stories. What's next?
For the company? Well, it's actually, there are 3 different entities. So there's the National Theatre Arts Company, the National Silk Symphony Orchestra, and the National Philharmonic Orchestra. And what we try to do is sort of just plan a calendar of events throughout the year for things that resonate, that like with what's happening at the time. So if there's Easter, we might try to have a concert that speaks to the themes of Easter, different things like that. So we definitely have some shows coming down the pipeline, which we can't discuss quite yet.
Yeah.
But we're trying to keep booked and busy.
I like it. Booked and busy, and covering Trinidad and Tobago eventually, I guess, because we so far have some Southland coverage. Yeah. When are we going to Tobago?
That's a great question. I would love to know myself.
Okay. So we'll definitely be chatting with you guys again, because when those plans unfurl, you do want to let us and the nation know. But for now, guys, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Because I'm ready to hit that stage in one way or the other. Yeah. I'll be in the audience, so guys, don't get tired of it. As a matter of fact, if I felt like I wanted to flex my acting chop, is that an option?
It could come after we're done.
He's like, I have things to do, ma'am. I have things to do. Shannon Navarro, the company manager for the National Performing Arts, and Arnold Penny Goidham. Did I pronounce it right?
Yeah.
I feel really good about myself this morning. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for keeping arts and culture alive. And thank you all for being players on a grand stage.
Thank you.
I'm watching you.
I don't think
you guys are going to wrap things up right there. Jam on the Junction with us, and of course, the Now Morning Show.